fair to us or anybody else that has to deal with him as far as the landlord.
Or any landlord that does that. I mean, with the COVID and all that's going on, like, it's just really hard to keep up. And there's help for actually everybody, you know, now. And
like steps.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it could be avoided if there was a communication. You know, there's just a lot of communication that was open.
And how has the pandemic affected y'all in your living situation?
Well, we were out of work for a little while. We both had a COVID scare. Came in contact with someone that had COVID. My job had me to stay out for 3 weeks. My husband was off work for almost 3 weeks. Just it affects you financially and mentally, you know.
Physical stress on you.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of talk about, you know, the positive evictions due to the pandemic. So how is it, given that pause, that you're still having to go through the eviction process?
We were excited that there was a moratorium in place. It had been extended until March, and then when we found out about the clause in the lease where our gas needed to be on, it was used against us, and that kind of subsided the CDC paper, and that's the most stressful because, you know, it's almost like you don't have an outlet now. You know, it seems bad that you have to use a paper not to be evicted due to something that nobody has any control over, really. Yet at the same time, you know, you still do what you gotta do as far as paying what you can pay and making sure you can still take care of yourself, you know, with the little ends that you do have.
It's hard to do that when you're not working due to the fact of COVID, scares, and now I gotta worry about if I'm gonna be put out because I can't work due to the fact of my sickness. Then, I mean, I gotta still eat, I gotta still do that, but I can't do that because I'm not working due to the fact of the COVID. And this is like, it's stressful. Like,
being evicted, I think is harder for us because we're not from this city, and there's not a shelter here. Like, we don't mind, we're not above and beyond going to a shelter, but the thing about going to a shelter is there are lottery programs, and they don't have programs for married couples, only families with children, which means that if, for instance, I get into the shelter that night and my husband can't get in, then I worry about him all night. I definitely wouldn't leave him out, you know, or vice versa. He would,
switch
you know.
Shifts, like the shifts work like.
Yeah, we had to switch our shifts.
If you go to a shelter, you gotta be in
at a certain time. Yeah.
And if I work there, I don't get home till 6 in the morning. So now I really don't have nowhere to stay because the time that they releasing people to get out for that morning, I'm just now getting off work, ready to lay down, and I can't lay down because that situation. That's why it's like it's hard. It ain't like you ain't trying. I can see if I was out here just doing nothing, but if I'm trying, it's still kind of hard. Like, it's, you know, between a rock and a hard place, as the saying would be. Like, you're back against the wall. It ain't so much you can do. You're trying, you're working, but you still need rest. You still need your proper necessities.